Hello and welcome back to Tidbit of Torah. Along with brown hair and weak bones, I believe I also inherited indecisiveness from my family. I know as a child, I always had the hardest time making decisions. Sometimes I would feel paralyzed about deciding where to go, what to buy, what to do. You may experience indecisiveness as well. And as someone that's indecisive, I've learned strategies over the years about how to effectively make decisions. I wonder what you do to make decisions or to help the people around you make decisions. I know for me, it helps to make lists, pros and cons. It helps to take a step back and take time. It helps me a lot to ask people their opinion, and the more research and information I gather makes decisions easier. But sometimes that doesn't make decisions happen. It just gives you more information in order to make them. This week, and as we get ready for the holiday of Purim, we learn about decision-making through a spiritual perspective. Queen Esther has important decisions that she has to make that have life and death consequences, not only for her, but for the entire Jewish people around her. She has to decide, for example, about whether or not to share with her husband, the king, that she's Jewish or not. How does she make this decision? Well, Midrash teaches us that when it says that Queen Esther clothed herself in her royal garments, that means that not only did she put on her queenly attire, but also that she clothed herself in the Shekhinah, the spiritual divine presence of God in this world. In other words, in order to make this decision, she thought about it not just as how it would affect her, but how her decisions would affect a larger world and the values and the people around her. Mordechai asks Esther the question, who knows if it wasn't for just such a time that you became queen? In other words, he asked her this poignant question of, what if it was precisely for this moment and this decision that you were placed in this role? In addition to the list making, the talking to people, the research, and taking time, I view this offering that Purim gives us as another important decision-making tool, and that is spiritual practice. In other words, what if we saw our decisions not just as logistical, tactical opportunities, but an opportunity to ask ourselves a question of, why are we here? And what if this decision helped me to figure out what my footprint in the sand in this universe is? What if this decision were part of a larger connective network, a spiritual framework in this world? I love this. I love that thinking about our decisions, not just as things that affect us directly, not as things that are only about whether we should do X or Y, but a way of being in the world that is both about ourselves and about others, both about the logistics of life, as well as the spiritual consequences of being in connection to others and being in connection to God. What a wonderful invitation that Purim gives us to celebrate with joy, but also to celebrate with the courage, the spiritual audacity, and the spiritual decision-making toolkit that Queen Esther and Mordechai give to us to reframe our decisions as an opportunity to define our impact in this world. I'd like to close with a poem that's a prayer for making decisions by Rabbi Naomi Levy, a prayer for wisdom and guidance. God, I need to make an important decision, and I don't know which way to turn. I feel ambivalence and insecure. I wish I had eyes to peer into the future to know which path is the correct one. Help me, God. Send me guidance. Fill me with the insight to choose wisely. Remind me not to panic. Remind me to take the time I need to make an informed decision. Teach me how to properly weigh each option. Give me the courage to trust my instincts, the faith to trust my intuition. Be with me, God. Lead me on the path to blessings, to joy, and to peace. Amen. Sometimes we talk about the holiday of Purim as a holiday that seems that God is absent. This seems to be a holiday about people making decisions and having courage about other people. And yet, maybe the presence of God is actually in those decisions. Maybe by choosing how to walk forward in our lives, we are invoking God and making space for God, not only in our decisions, but also in the consequences and in this world. Shabbat Shalom.